Hello, my name is Carrie. Welcome to my tiny little kitchen. I have been cooking since I was a child. Today we're going to make Mexican style chicken Kiev. I have put 1.5 sticks of butter, which is 3/4 cup, into a saucepan on low heat to melt. It's completely melted. I'm going to use the wrappers from the butter to lightly grease my baking pan. There's always a little bit of butter left on the wrappers after you unwrap a stick of butter, and so that works really well to lightly grease the bottom and sides of a pan. So there's our greased pan. We're going to be making 12 pieces of chicken Kiev, so we need 6 ounces of Monterey Jack cheese, and I'm going to cut that 6 ounces of cheese into 12 slices. We also are using 1 7-ounce can of green chilies. These are mild chopped chilies. And 1 4-ounce can. We need to drain the liquid from the chilies. So we've drained all of the liquid out of our cans of chilies. So our chili is ready and our cheese is ready. Now we have to get our chicken ready. I'm going to place some wax paper on top of my cutting board. And I'm going to put some disposable gloves on my hands for handling the chicken meat. I have 12 pieces of boneless, skinless chicken breast, and we need to pound that to about 1/4 inch thickness. So I'm using my rolling pin, and I'm putting the chicken between 2 pieces of wax paper so that I can pound the meat thin. So I've pounded it nice and thin, and I will do that with the remainder of the chicken breast to get them ready. Finish pounding all of the chicken breasts thin. I had them in between layers of wax paper when I was pounding them with the rolling pin. Now I have a sheet of wax paper on top of my counter. I have a bowl of fine dry breadcrumbs. It's actually 1/2 cup of panko crumbs and 1/2 cup of tortilla chips that I grounded into crumbs in my little my mini food processor that works great when you just need to do a small amount. But you could also use your blender, or you could put the crumbs into a bag and beat them with your wooden rolling pin. and make crumbs that way. So we have 1 cup of breadcrumbs. This recipe also calls for Parmesan cheese, and I bought a container of shaved Parmesan cheese. Came in a little container like this, and this is what it looked like. And I put the shaved Parmesan cheese into my little food processor, and I ground it up to make ground Parmesan cheese. And we needed a 1/2 cup of ground Parmesan cheese. So we're adding that to our 1 cup of panko and tortilla chip crumbs. You could use all panko, any other fine dry breadcrumb, or you could use all finely ground tortilla chips. That's up to you. We're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. We're also using chili powder. We're adding 2 tablespoons of chili powder. And the recipe calls for salt. I'm adding sea salt because that's my favorite. And the recipe calls for a teaspoon, but I'm only doing a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then I like fresh ground black pepper. So we need a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. So I'm just going to go ahead and grind some fresh pepper into our crumbs. And we'll stir all of that together to make sure it's nicely mixed. And you can see the spices and the crumbs and the cheese are all mixed together. Next, I have a shallow pan that I'm going to pour our melted butter into. So, I'm going to take 1 piece of chicken, which I have on the wax paper, not on the countertop, and 1 piece of cheese, and a little bit of green chili. And then you roll the chicken up, tucking the ends in. Sometimes to get it to stay rolled up in the position that you need it, it's easy to put toothpicks in, but this will be good enough rolled up. And then you dip your rolled up chicken into the melted butter, and then dip it into your crumb mixture. Get the crumbs onto our chicken piece. And then put it seam side down into your prepared pan. So I'm going to continue doing that with all of our pieces of chicken until our pan is full. Glad that I had gloves on while I was rolling up the chicken and putting it in the butter and the crumbs, because that is a very messy job. Now I have the pan filled. We use the leftover butter just to drizzle over the tops of the pieces of chicken. There's little bits of crumb and spice still mixed into this butter that I used to roll the chicken with, but we just drizzle the leftover butter. Now I took the leftover Parmesan cheese and I put that container away into the freezer, so that way it will keep for several months, and the next time I use Parmesan cheese I'll have some ready. I didn't use all of the green chilies, so I'm going to save those for the special sauce that we're going to make to go on top of these. And right now it's time to cover up this dish and to refrigerate it for 4 hours or for overnight. So we're going to cover this up. Normally I only make 8 pieces, but I'm going to visit my sister tomorrow and I wanted to take an extra dinner for her family. So I'll put this in the refrigerator for 4 hours, take it out and cook it. My husband and I will have chicken for dinner tonight, and then we could take the rest of it to my sister and her family. So I'm going to put this away in the refrigerator for now. Our Mexican chicken Kiev rolls have been covered and in the refrigerator for almost 4 hours now. So now it's time to preheat our oven to 400 degrees and to make our tomato sauce to go on top of the chicken. So to make the sauce, you will need a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And we had leftover green chilies that didn't go into the chicken Kiev, so I'm going to put the leftover green chilies into our tomato sauce. And then salt and pepper to taste. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sea salt. Not much, but a little bit of salt helps bring out the flavor in food. And then some fresh ground black pepper. And a ½ teaspoon of cumin. And I'm going to put that on a low heat. We'll stir that together. And I have some green onions. They've already been washed. I'm going to cut the ends off. And then I'll just peel the first outer layer off. So we have the freshest onion from the inside. And we need 1/3 of a cup of chopped green onions. So I'm just going to slice these nice and fine. Not only have I washed my hands thoroughly and used gloves when I was handling the chicken, after I put the chicken into the refrigerator, I did use bleach to clean my cutting board and utensils, my rolling pin, and the countertops. So 3 or 4 green onions should be enough. And we'll add that to our tomato sauce. Now our oven will need to preheat for 10 to 15 minutes so that it will be a 400-degree oven. And then our chicken will bake for 20 to 30 minutes. So that will give the flavors in our sauce time to blend. So like I said, I have this on a low heat. I'm going to put a lid on it and we'll let that simmer, and as soon as our oven has heated, we'll put our pan of chicken inside. I'm just now taking the chicken out of the refrigerator. We've taken the plastic off. We're going to cook it uncovered in a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes or until the chicken is cooked through. So we're going to put that into the oven now. And we'll set our timer. I have my rice cooker out. And I'm going to put a little bit of lemon infused olive oil into the bottom of the rice cooker. And we felt like having white rice tonight. A lot of times we eat brown rice, but when I asked my husband what he wanted for tonight, he asked for white rice. So we're doing 1 cup of white rice. And I'll turn the rice cooker on. And we'll do 2 cups of water. We'll stir that up. And we'll have some rice to go with our chicken. Our sauce is still cooking. And it smells very nice. I'm ready to take the chicken out. It looks like it's a beautiful, crispy brown. I baked it for 25 minutes. You can see that it's quite hot. And our pot of rice just finished cooking as well. And our sauce has been simmering. So that looks and smells wonderful. Since this one is the least pretty of the batch, I'm going to take this one and we'll cut into it. Normally you want to let your meat rest for at least 5 minutes before you cut into it so that the juices stay in it. But I'd like to see if this chicken meat is done before I serve it to my husband. So the only way I can really tell is to cut into it. and see how the meat looks. And you can see that that is completely cooked through. The chicken is cooked perfectly. It should be nice and moist. No pink. So that looks perfect. Our rice is ready. So we have chicken and rice. And then some of our special tomato sauce. Here's Mexican chicken Kiev. Thank you for watching, and remember to season everything that you do with love.